Well, I hope you're enjoying this growth group semester. And I know we've unpacked so much about giving. I like giving and creating a generous heart, really the power of what that means to have a generous heart. And I do pray that you're living this out. I do pray that you're exercising, listening to what God's doing in your life and growing. Because again, when we give, we become more like Jesus. In this lesson, I'm going to talk really about just filters that we use when it comes to giving. Giving is amazing. Like I've already explained, there's so much data and scientific research and biblical understanding about all the benefits of giving. But invariably, there are some filters that get into our thinking. There are some things that biases that we obstruct us from being willing to give. We get fatigued. We get worried. We get skeptical. Okay, that's a good. We get a little bit more critical, and all of these become filters in our giving. Here's some filters that you may identify with. Filters like they'll just waste what I give them. They're not going to appreciate it. They're not going to value that. They're just going to waste it. Another filter could be I shouldn't give unless I know what they're going to do with my gift. I'm not going to give if I don't know what they're going to do with it. Another one, this isn't a good time. I'm not in a good place, and this is just maybe a better day, maybe tomorrow. Some other filters are, I'm comfortable and giving will make me uncomfortable. I mean, if I give, I'm not going to have my cushion, or I'm not going to have my space, or I'm not going to have my comfortable pad, so to speak. Giving is going to make me uncomfortable. Some other filters are, they don't really need it. Maybe I don't know the full picture. There's, however, one filter that, just paused me. And I thought, I really would want to heighten this filter up. And it's really the filter, what we call need-based giving, meaning we only give to the needs that we see. But however, there's a broader perspective on giving that includes being a blessing to those that may never show, it may never look like they need something. They may have it all together on the outside, and yet because of our perceived filter, we don't think that person's in need. We don't think we have anything to give them. They've got it better than me. Why should I give? We are very good at really need-based giving. When there's a need, we feel that's when we respond. But being generous expands us to a whole different level, because you're not looking just for needs. You're looking for the promptings. You're looking for God's Spirit to challenge you. Like, that person could use some encouragement. That person could use some love. That person could use some support. That person could use some kindness. And if we are just going off our filters of, well, I don't see a need, there's no need made mention, no one ever told me anything, we're missing a lot of opportunities that are sitting all around us. God put us together as a body of believers that we would be there for one another, bless one another, challenge one another, help one another. And so these are real filters in our life. And so that's why my encouragement to you is to listen to that nudge. Because even though someone may not look like they have a need, or they may never tell you there's a need, or you may never be aware of a need, the Holy Spirit can tell you, you need to move and do something. You need to try. You need to investigate. You need to respond, whatever that is. And you don't know, because you give with no strings attached. And you give recognizing that I'm giving because I feel the Spirit, I feel the nudge, I feel the prompting to give. And so I'm going to do that. You need to listen to the situation. You need to trust your gut. Trust that what God's doing, and trust what you're feeling is true. And regardless of the filters that hinder us so many times, that blind us to opportunities, that really make us stop short of meeting the needs that God has put around us, that we remove those filters. We listen to that little nudge that we need to help get involved. As I was working on this lesson, it was amazing how God was just really in real time teaching me. So I'm working on this lesson that I'm teaching right now, and my phone rings, and it's Josh Herring, a great evangelist that's come to our church. And I'm sitting in my hotel room, and I'm working on this lesson. My phone rings, and I see his name, and I answer the phone. And I say, hey, Josh, how you doing? And doing good. He said, Brother Zunga, I just wanted to say thank you. He said, Janae just came to the mailbox and she opened up an envelope and there was a check from your church as an offering to us. And he said, but what you don't know is we just got a call yesterday and we're planning on going to General Conference, and our babysitter said, you know what, I'm not going to be able to drive in. I'm going to have to fly in. And our babysitter's coming in to watch our kids, and it's, getting short notice, looking at the tickets to fly her in. It was very expensive. We were literally on the phone saying, how are we going to pay for this? And I was telling my wife, Janae, saying, I don't know, but just pay it. We need to go. He said, at that moment, she sees this envelope from Goodlettsville, and she opens up this envelope, and it's the exact amount we need to cover the cost of that babysitter. He said, you would never know that. He said, I just want to say thank you. In my mind, I thought, God, there may not have been a perceived need. I was unaware of a need, but somebody in our church felt the need to send the herrings an offering. So sent in an offering to our church. The timing could have been so different. We could have sent it a week later. We could have missed it. But God, in his amazing, incredible way, brings time and need together and demonstrates how we work together. I just want you to understand that happens all the time. That someone obeys, there's a need, not known, not perceived, not talked about, and yet because someone obeyed the promptings of God, somebody's life is blessed. Their faith is renewed. They've recognized that, God, you heard me, and we become a blessing. But if we have filters and say, well, the herrings don't need that, then, they're a successful evangelist. They've got more than that. If we let filters blind us, sometimes we may even tie the hands of God. So the challenge in this lesson is giving is something you get to do, not that you have to do it. It's a privilege. It's an honor. It's a joy to give. Maybe that's why Scripture reminds us God loveth a cheerful giver, because God's looking at it from it's an honor to give. It's not a duty or chore, an obligation. It's a privilege. And if you have a privilege, you should have joy with that. It's true. I've never met an angry, bitter, generous person. So don't fall for the tyranny of thinking there's just so many problems that my little efforts is not going to make a difference. I'm never going to solve world hunger, so why even give? I'm never going to fix every issue, so what does my little effort even matter? Why should I even try? There's going to be always more needs. It's never going to be enough. Well, in the words of a great pastor, do for one what you wish you could do for everyone. 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 7 is a great verse, and it says this: every man, according as he purposeth in his heart, so let him give, not grudgingly or of necessity, for God loveth a cheerful giver. As every man purposeth in his heart. I want you to just let this verse challenge you in this lesson, that our hearts have to be purposed. Our hearts have to be opened up to being used of God. Your heart's tendency is to die out. Your heart's tendency is to get clogged and polluted. Your heart's tendency is to shrink. But the Bible reminds us, as every man purposeth in his heart, so let him give. So if you close your heart because of filters that have been ingrained and experiences that you have and negative things and other times that were not as positive when you gave, it will cause your heart to shrink away from giving. But as you purpose it, give. This video you're about to watch is amazing because of all the filters this man has to go through to meet needs. It's so challenging. I think you're really going to like it. God bless you. Thank you for being in Growth Group. I pray that this has challenged you as we awaken our generous heart of I like to give.
The story starts with me eating chicken at KFC. And this guy comes just shuffling in with a walker. His beard was growing out, his hair was down to his shoulders, and it was greasy and matted. He's got on this old white t-shirt that is just soiled from stem to stern. I thought, well, you know, I can at least give him something to eat. We went and grabbed him some chicken, and I found out he was living on a couch in a little patch of woods there. So he was back there laying on the couch, and he told me that he was a homeless vet. I could not believe that a human being would be living like he was, especially having served the country. He was sick, he was mentally disabled, smelled to high heaven. You know, it would be inhuman to leave a man living out like that if there was any hope. So I took him into a hotel, but he's got issues with his kidneys and his feet. And so they finally said, look, take him out. We just started taking care of him from then on. Ready? You know, what happens to a man that deteriorates to the position that he's in? From what I've been able to piece together, he was adopted by an elderly couple, so they died early in his life. He joined the military, got married somewhere along in that line. His wife said, come home and take care of the family or she was going to leave him. He went home to take care of his wife. Well, she left him anyway and took the kid.
I just wish God would make all this stop.
I mean, it's been a challenge. It's a slog to get those benefits. In the middle of this thing, I don't know when it'll end. I don't know if it will end. But when I committed to help him, I basically told God I'd see it through.
Mark was in hell till Eddie Green came into his life and changed all that. Mark was very sick. You know, with post-traumatic stress syndrome, the first thing they start thinking about is what they did in that war. How many people they done killed.
And sometimes I think I've made so many mistakes. When I'm laying in bed, I ask God to make sure I don't wake up.
I don't want to see him die. I'm hoping that Mark can get out of the prison that he's in his own mind and come back to life.
For a while, I hated God more than anything on this planet. That went away because I figured there's all kinds of people on this planet that are kind of like me, and he's helping them. Eddie is someone that I would do anything for if I could.
Go to the bathroom and then call me when you get ready to brush your teeth, all right?
He's done so much for me.
If you consider that you're a gift of God to the other people in the world, there really is something spiritual that takes place when we give our life. It's just like a crystallization of the reality of what God feels for mankind.
Just listen to Mark. Listen to him cry out, man. He became my brother. This is the way I look at other people. They are human beings. They are brothers and sisters no matter what. Somebody needs to reach out, give the compassion, and don't think loving somebody is weak. It is powerful. Love is the most powerful thing in the world.